Hello and welcome to Dad's Our Job podcast, the original football podcast by dads for dads. We're joined live this week by Callum and Rob Horton. Boys, how are we getting on?
Yeah,
Hiya.
good. Everyone all right?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Enjoying the football.
Enjoying the football.
Last
So
week.
before we've just hold on, Rob. Has he scored
Don't tell me
again?
they've scored again.
It was very close. Good save from the goalkeeper.
So we're currently watching the Aston Villa PSG second leg game of the Champions League. And
Why has he not scored? Sorry, I don't know why I'm so far behind, but I am. I've just seen it.
All right, sorry, I'd try again.
Try again. No, that was the perfect intro. Keep going, keep going. We're currently reacting to the PSG Aston Villa game. Hi, GP. GP, big shout out to GP. I don't know if that's the initials of Graham Potter, but in a lot of West Ham live chats, he gets involved, and some of the comments could be a bit controversial. So, GP is GP. So, thanks GP for dropping in. Comment as much as you like. Ask us questions. We're all open up. So this week's title is obviously the aftermath, and ideally, it would have been best to record this on a Thursday night, the night after Arsenal v Real Madrid. But unfortunately, the Arsenal boys are going away this weekend on Thursday, so they won't be able to record. So they want to do tonight instead. So what a way to avoid a potential upset.
To the madness, I think, Ad. Ironically, yeah. So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's very, very segue to part one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that we are 3-0 up. Because it's still Real Madrid and it's still the Bernabeu. But you've got to believe, haven't you? Because last week was some of the most excited, and there's a lot of negativity in our fan base, but there's been so much to be excited about being an Arsenal fan over the last 2 years, particularly. But you could say maybe over the last 3 or 4, there's been loads to be really positive about. And I don't normally credit TalkSport with much, and Adrian Durham even less. But one of the things he said when I was listening, I was driving back from work because I was meeting I was meeting Callum and my dad at the pub, and one of the things he said was that this was like a night where Arsenal really re-announced themselves as Champions League football club, and it was it was a dismantling of the best Champions League team in the history of like European football, or the best European football club in the history of European football, if that makes sense. And it was a dismantling. It was incredible stuff. There was incredible free kicks. There was great play goals. There was head gone moment. Camavinga getting himself sent off. Like everything about it was incredible. But that doesn't mean anything when you're going to the Bernabeu, because they can literally anything could happen. Defensively, I genuinely believe we can get at them because they are going to throw everything at us. What I think is going a little bit under the radar is that Dani Ceballos could be back in the starting lineup. He is a regular under Ancelotti. And even though it didn't really work out for him at Arsenal, it's working out for him there. And he is an Ancelotti boy, and Ancelotti puts a lot of faith in him. So I think that could be quite interesting. Going forward, we know exactly what they have. Vinicius, Rodrigo, Mbappe. They could score 5 goals. They could. That's not beyond the realms of possibility. But they will come onto Arsenal, and that will play into Arsenal's hands on the counter-attack, especially if Nelly and Saka are starting. Because not many are going to catch him on the break. Which means that I think Arsenal could get in behind, even if we do concede. But to add to that, Arsenal have never conceded against Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Yeah. There is always a point.
Well, there's always there's always a first time, and there could be many that could come. But Arsenal haven't conceded more than 3 goals in a game for like 2 or 3 years. Or something like that. So you have to believe that defensively we're going to be very cute, we're going to be very tight, and we will play counter-attacking football that I think could or should, maybe is a better word, should see us through to the semi-finals. But Cal, come on, man, Real Madrid, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, I agree with everything that Rob says, but I'm also a great believer that you've got to give credit. What's his say? What's come up?
Real Madrid
did lose 2-1 at home.
At home. I mean,
They did.
listen, any day we can all look at history and say, Real Madrid haven't scored against us and all this sort of stuff. But let's be honest. Each game you've got to take as each game. As Rob just said, yes, they got the potential to go and score 5 goals and go on and win it. Yeah, we get that. But let's just look at Arsenal's result against Real Madrid. Let's be honest. Anyone beating Real Madrid, regardless if you're in their league or out of their league or in the Champions League, that is a fantastic win. They are that good for anyone to get points or a win against them. You'd be buzzing. You'd be and we are buzzing. That's why every Arsenal fan is absolutely buzzing. And I think not just because we've beaten them, but we've also beaten them. And and I can't speak more highly of Mourinho, but we've beaten him. I mean, I love the guy, but we've beaten him without a proper striker. Let's be honest. And this is what's really getting on my nerves around the media is they've written us off. They've still written us off, and I think most people have. I think, to be fair, a lot of Arsenal fans still written us off, even though we're 3-0 up. But we played them with a weakened team. We haven't got Gabriel playing. We haven't got let's be honest. I mean, Saliba and Gabriel is our strongest back four. Back two. Sorry, you've also got White that started the season. Would have been a starter, hasn't played.
Can I just say, Cal, if that hadn't happened, we might not have seen MLS at left back.
No, true. No, I agree. True. I mean, everything happens.
There is. You could say that Arsenal may be more full strength than we might.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing that one out there as well.
No, it's a good shout. It's a fantastic. Good shout. I mean, to beat them with not a full firing front line, not with your full back four as well, and keep a clean sheet, that's outstanding. Do you know what I mean? That is outstanding. And I know we've got to take the next game as just another game. And all the other things, all the statistics and history and all that, it's lovely to bring up. But ultimately, it's what happens on that night.
Right,
and what we got to hope is the boys can deal with the pressures of that night. And I know they're saying, we've got no Champions League experience and later games, quarterfinals, semi-finals, whatever you want to say, experience. But these have all played international football. Rice has played in major competitions for England. He's won European trophy with West Ham. I mean, Odegaard.
Oh, you're acknowledging it now. You're acknowledging it now.
The Mickey Mouse Cup. Yeah.
What Callum didn't mention, he's also won the Community Shield with Arsenal, which is a bigger trophy.
So, technically it is, because dimensionally it's wider.
I know they also had to beat Man City to win it, didn't they? So
it's funny how you can enter a competition without winning the league or the FA Cup and then having to win that trophy on penalties. It's funny, isn't it? It's just very cliche. The only trophy you've won under
what you need to do is try and get. What you need to do is try and get top 4. But yeah, I mean, it's so.
Sorry, I didn't hear anything then. Say it again.
You just cut him off, did you? You just deleted him from
the
no. But can I say something as well? He's gone.
Oh, he's gone. No.
So I also think, though, have you seen how? I mean, and it shows how. It shows how much Real Madrid still believe in themselves as well, because their build-up to this week has been ridiculous, hasn't it? Like there's been there's been like such demand from Ancelotti. I think the players are taking it very seriously. They still think there's a game here, and that just shows how much Arsenal need to make sure that they are paying attention. Have you even seen that they're going to close the roof to the Bernabeu, so to keep the atmosphere really nice and nice and intense for the Real Madrid players to try and be like the 12th man.
Yeah, I mean they've got to really pull some out of the bag to try and maintain their dominance in this competition, haven't they? I mean, they had done it before. I mean, they were, I think they're playing Borussia Dortmund. I think Borussia, it might be the other way around.
Thing is though, Ad, and this isn't mine. This isn't mine, but they can close the roof all they want, but rice cooks best with the lid on, doesn't it?
Oh, I've seen that tweet. Fucking shit. Fucking shit.
It's not mine. I think now Arsenal reposted it, but I think it was someone called Sam X AFC. I think it was their post. So I'm definitely not taking the credit for it. But
no, don't, mate. That's not. If Arsenal win, will Arsenal fans still ideally want Arteta, or is it like Moyes? He just jumped the shark.
Oh my God, who DP, mate? Mate, can I just say, every true Arsenal fan, yeah, anyone who's got a bit of an IQ, wants Arteta.
Callum, he's called you, mate. He's had a picture. He's had a picture stuck in the water.
Mate, GP, thank you for bringing it up. I want to have this. It's getting on my nerves. This is what mug?
Not an Arsenal fan.
What mug does not want Arteta in?
Yeah.
What mug doesn't want him in?
You don't want him in.
He is the best looking manager in the league. Yeah,
we'll just hire him then. He looks like a fucking Thunderbird doll. Is that something Captain Scarlet?
Doesn't say much for the rest.
Just because Potter's not as good looking, all right? Don't calm down.
Ain't my manager.
Listen,
I love Arteta, so it's fine.
Yeah, same. Anyone who's got anything about him wants him in. He's absolutely different gravy.
The only thing you have to do is to look at what's happening in other clubs. You look at Chelsea. Maresca didn't work. Graham Potter didn't work. Switch.
Man United.
Man United. Abraham didn't work. Ten Hag won 2 trophies. They sacked him.
Yeah, I think they should have stuck with Mark.
Yeah, I would take
that for the clickbait. But
I would take the stability of Arteta and a second place. Well, I mean, it might not be second because we're not playing very well at the moment, or we're not getting the results over the line. Or a second place, third this year. I would take that stability, even with the frustrations, over where some of our previous competition are. Look at Man United, look at Chelsea, and then on the flip side of stability, when you should switch it up, like Arsenal did with Emery when it wasn't working, and fair play to him now. I am one of the Arsenal fans who have got no problem with Emery. Good luck to you, unless we get you in the next round, if we get to the next round ourselves. But it wasn't working under Emery. So Arsenal made a decision, and it turned out so far that it's been the right one. Or I would argue it's been the right one, because I don't see Emery would have turned it around and created the squad that he's got now.
He lost the squad, didn't he?
He lost the squad. It was a shame. I mean, you have to credit him for bringing Saka into the team. But he also wanted to sell Saka for Wilfried Zaha. So, so I would, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be sort of moved on that. There's absolutely no way I'd be looking at anyone else. I think Arteta has got. I think maybe Arteta would be looking at it personally and thinking, I need to do something next year. So I don't think it would. I think another year is a minimum. Is fine.
Also, I don't. Everyone keeps talking about the league at the moment. Let's be honest. No one cares about the league. No one cares about the league. I know. Don't get wrong. We want to get top 4
season, isn't it?
The league was finished 3 months ago.
Do you know what the nice thing is, though, Cal? Is that there is a part of me that is just glad that Arsenal have just faded away, because it just kind of makes it less interesting for people to talk about it. Do you know what I mean?
No one cares about league. No, literally, this is the first season for a long, long time where everyone is like, mate, Champions League. Because I mean, I am a bit of a. I do quite like the new format of it, especially with so many big games. There've been some big games this year. Even like Arsenal getting Paris Saint-Germain in the second game week. And us getting that win over them. Like some of the games that we've had this year, like we dreamed to have, seeing Inter Milan's and Barcelona's playing the big teams early on, not even just in the later stages.
Mhm.
I find it so interesting. Like even like obviously the Aston Villa game now that's playing, and how tight that is against PSG and then running them to the line. Like for me, it's all. I mean, obviously, I know people are going to come on and go, well, of course you are, because it's the only thing that Arsenal can win or potentially go through or get, however you want to look at it. Yeah, and arguably so. But also, the games that we're getting is the ones that we've been dreaming of for yonks that never ever happened. Do you know what I mean? So the league's boring, and unfortunately, Arsenal have made it boring because of slip ups and not putting pressure on. And I also get that point of it. And obviously, the same as like Man City, them having such a big drop off, and it's, there's not even been a third challenge for Liverpool. And rightly so, Liverpool have been the best team and most consistent team, and fair play to them. They keep grinding out wins, and they've had their bit of luck, and we haven't, and we've had yellow cards, and we can go on and all about this crap. But ultimately, Arsenal switched off from the league. It's just about trying to get points now to get over the line, to get second place or third point, to get guaranteed football. Let's be honest. Nottingham Forest, who would have dreamed at the beginning of the season Nottingham Forest being third place? Like that's how bad the league's been. Let's be honest.
But you know what? Nottingham Forest dropping points and Man City not capitalising has also helped Arsenal, because they've still got enough of a gap. Not enough to think, okay, we're definitely going to finish second, but enough of a gap where we've got points to play with to kind of, because there's only 6 games left. So if Arsenal can win 3 of them, you'd be thinking, okay, that's probably enough to finish second. And one of them, and Ipswich and Southampton in our last 6 games, and their games we should be winning. So, I do think that there is ample opportunity for Arsenal to solidify a second spot. But Newcastle also have a game. I think that's worth so there's that too. But yeah, there is a cynical part of me that are glad that Arsenal kind of had the drop off, because it was unlikely we were going to catch them anyway. But it just means that people are kind of like, oh yeah, Liverpool won the league, meh. And I'm glad that they're getting a meh, to be honest, because it's just Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a poor season. They've been
it is. It's been a poor
best
season.
of a bad bunch. But the 3 relegated teams are the ones that come up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so many pants teams. So many teams have had pants seasons. Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal. To be an Arsenal,
I don't think Arsenal had a pants season. I don't think they've had a pants season. I think what Arsenal have achieved, considering, even if you take away everything else, take away all the stuff that's happened on the pitch, right?
The VARs and all that, yeah.
When you look at if you forget all of the stuff that you could question, when you look at Arsenal's injuries, the fact that they are still second, I think, is huge. A huge testament to the team belief, the morale within the squad, the self-belief, because at our worst, we were playing a 17-year-old winger, sorry, a 17-year-old attacking midfielder, probably an 8 or a 10, playing on right wing. We were playing with such narrow football, and we were still grinding out results. And we've been without Havertz, been out Martinelli, been out Saka. If you look at those injuries, and then earlier on in the season we were without Odegaard, Calafiori's been injured regularly, Ben White. When you look at the injury list, the fact that we are still second is incredible. And if Arsenal don't have those injuries, and a couple of those dubious ones go the other way, I think Arsenal win the league. So I do think that the fact that we are second is a huge testament to what has been achieved by the squad this year. And we are in the latter stages of the Champions League at the moment as well. So I wouldn't say it's been a bad season for Arsenal. I think it's been unfortunate. I do think it's been really unfortunate. If you're talking about bad seasons, then there are teams with good squads that have had woeful seasons. Like Man City dropping off the way they dropped off Rodri shouldn't be enough to drop off that bad.
No. I mean, you talk about the injuries we've had. Well, they've had Rodri, yes, but I mean, they've got a star. I mean, their substitute 7 would probably make most first teams. Like Jack Grealish would probably make most first teams.
Yeah, you're
right. So
I mean, they've had some defensive injuries as well, so there is that. But the Rodri one, you saw how Arsenal struggled when Arsenal lost Partey in the past, and it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? But Arsenal could still, rally and finish, in the top 2. And then God knows what's happened at Tottenham this year. That's a bad season. I think they've lost 17. They've lost 17 games.
I don't mind them being shit, if I'm honest.
No, nor do I.
I mean, can I just say, I know it's completely off topic and what we want to talk about, but just really quickly, and what are they going? Are they going to stick or twist with him?
They're going to have to. I think he's going to have to go, and he might win. He might win the Europa League.
If they go out of Europa League, he's done. If he loses on Thursday, he's gone.
Do you reckon? He needs to. He needs to win. You're saying?
Is Ryan Mason available?
I think he is actually. I don't know where he is, but
he's the coaching side.
Is he there or is he at Hull? I'm not too sure.
I'm sure he's still part of the coaching team.
I'll have a Google for you, and then we can give the correct information out rather than trying.
So you're saying
that
Ange to save his job, he needs to win. He needs to win the Europa League.
He's got yes.
Yeah, I think so,
he's got to win the Europa League, hasn't
he? He always wins something in his second season. So,
mate, if he wins that, that's bigger than West Ham winning it.
It is
because I think West Ham is.
Well, yeah,
West Ham have got more about them than Tottenham have, and they are poor, mate.
No, I can't disagree with as we predicted earlier in the season, it was either going to go one way or the other. It was either we were going to the signings that we had and the Lopetegui and stuff. It was either we were going to get top 4, or we was going to be finishing 16th or 17th, and it was pretty much bang on that. And Lopetegui did get sacked, so it wasn't as if I'm shocked by how poor we've been. But we knew it was going to happen because of the ownership that's in charge. There's no way West Ham were ever going to succeed when we spent 144 million, thanks GP, and we bought the wrong manager to lead our team. It was never going to happen. If Sullivan put his hand in his pocket and actually invested in a progressive younger manager for us to build with, rather than try and get some mercenary for the next 2 years, then we actually would have been somewhere this season. But we haven't. It's because he cheaped out. He didn't want to get Amorim, and we're in the position we are. That's the way it is. If we got Amorim for £15 million, then we didn't sign someone like Fullkrug. No, I like Fullkrug. I'll back that. But if we didn't get someone like Fullkrug and kept Amorim could have brought in probably a younger Portuguese striker that's up and coming in the Sporting Lisbon Academy for pittance. And he could have been worth like £40 million now. But it's all ifs and buts. But he's at Man United now. He's got a tougher job on his hands. I still think he'll do well there. But he's got a massive job at Man United. But it would have been a less of a bigger job than if he went to West Ham at the start of the season rather than Man United halfway through it.
Yeah, I agree. I think West Ham. I think Man United are in a worse place than West Ham are. I think I would rather be a West Ham fan at the moment than a Tottenham or a Man United fan. I think you've got more about you and more potential going into next season.
Yeah,
than them two clubs have. I would be seriously worried if I was one of their fans.
Next season for us is about ensuring we've got Premier League football. And that's how ambitious it is. It's Premier League football. It's about making sure we do not lambaster around the bottom half of the table. It's make sure we've got stability in that league. And if we can push for a cup win, we'll try and do that. But next season, it's about staying in that Premier League. That is what it's about.
I feel like you should be able to do that under Potter.
Yeah, we should do. But he's got.
We half the squad though, shouldn't you? I really do believe that.
I done a study on this yesterday actually. Like spending my quality personal time, actually figuring out how West Ham are going to be restructuring their sort of transfer policy. And it's about, I worked it out that there could be like 17 players leaving this season. That's 70-80% of the squad.
Yeah.
That's when you think like you got Kudus, he could probably go for 80 million quid. Alvarez wants to go. That's
he ain't going for 80 million quid, mate. No chance.
Kudus, well, that's
Saudi
if
money,
he wants
maybe.
to go.
Saudi money, maybe.
Yeah, Saudi. There's £120 million release clause for Saudi.
Is there?
Yeah, so it's
mate,
80
Kudus ain't worth
million.
80 mil.
I know that. I know Duran ain't worth 77.
Yeah, no, I know what you're. I know what you're getting at.
I do worth 105 is worth more, isn't he?
He's worth 205.
That's what I mean. So it's with West Ham, like it works out, we could probably generate something like £168 million this year, and free up £50 million in wages. It's like a £210 million war chest that could be had, but that's a massive turnover. That's an entire new squad.
But also, you probably got to think about, because you spent 144 as well, or 140.
Well, that's what I mean. So recouping that in two players like Kudus and Alvarez, that's 120 million. Only 24 million short of that. And if they're talking about selling Luis Guilherme, who I think should be kept, but then also when you think like the players' contracts, they're expiring. Like we've got Danny Ings that's going to be leaving in the summer. He's on 125 grand a week. Danny Ings, he's just training for a laugh. He's just training for a laugh. You've got Soufal, you've got Cresswell, you've got Antonio. I think it works out we saved something like £6 million in wages this year. Fabianski, another one, by just releasing these older players. So now that's six, and that's five senior players that need to be replaced. And we ain't got no money. We ain't really got much money to try and find that. So now we're going to have to dip in. But then you could look to the academy. I know you talked about this before, Cal, about whether they're ready to step up. Maybe, maybe not. But there's places there for that academy to step up into those positions. Like it's, there's a lot there to be considered. But I think the overhaul process is going to be quite significant. I think it's going to be a lot more than what people expect if they want Potter to do what he needs to do.
Also, if you want these players to step up, you'd like to think he'd start bleeding them in now. There's 6 games to
go. Yeah. Well, ideally, if he beat, I think we drew against Everton. That was we let a goal in the 98th minute. We drew against Bournemouth. They're 2 games that we've dropped 4 points, and we'd be guaranteed safety by now. We're still not safe. Still not mathematically safe. If Ipswich win all their games and we don't pick up 5 in that running, we could get relegated still.
Imagine having that conversation at the end of the season.
Yeah,
as a summary. West Ham got relegated. We wouldn't be able to do this podcast no more.
No, we would. But
no. We would.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah, you would. I'll still be a dad regardless what league I'm in.
You can do the first pod.
Yeah, you can do the first bit. You can't do the second part.
You can't sit with us.
You don't even go here.
That's all right. I'm on parachute payment for this podcast, so it's fine.
Very good.
But yeah, there is. I'm still genuinely concerned about that, and I'm not going to lie about it. But if we beat Southampton at the weekend, then we're 2 points needed from 5 games, and we've got Spurs and Man United coming up. Like I know that sounds, in usual seasons you think, oh, I'll dread that. But they're winnable games. Winnable games, especially this season.
Mate,
and we've got Ipswich last game of the season as well.
So bad. I mean, they're both so bad.
Yeah,
so bad. Your team lost the weekend and our team drew. Happy? Is that okay with that?
Well, I thought we were going to get absolutely battered, like 4-0, didn't we?
You did.
Yeah, I did. I did. Sorry. But I think Liverpool, they just never really got out of third gear. Like they just passed the ball about. It was just like, playing West Ham. It was a bit predictable. And then we got a break on. We actually put the pressure on. And we got a goal back for Andrew is it Andrew? Yeah, Andrew Robertson own goal. But as soon as they put a goal in, they just went, okay, right, we'll go fifth gear now, get this goal back, and then we'll go sit back. And that's exactly what happened. There's a lot of things that I don't want to sit here and kick and fuss about Liverpool, but Pakistan got fouled in the build up to the corner, and then Van Dijk pushed Fullkrug. If that was at the other end, the goal been disallowed at West Ham. So it's what it is. It's a dead season. I'm not going to cry over it too much, but it's it would have been nice to come away from Anfield with a point, but weren't to be. And it's the first game Potter's lost at Anfield in something like 6 seasons or something.
Well, Arsenal played
Brentford.
Yep, Arsenal played Brentford. Bogey team, a little bit Brentford. I always think of that tweet by Tony with the whole nice little kick about today when they beat us on the first day of the season a few seasons back. So ever since then, Brentford have been a bit bogey. We've beaten them a fair few times, but I said that there could be an Mbumo Wissa link up. I don't know if Mbumo got the assist, but Wissa definitely got the goal. And yeah, it just kind of looked like it was doomed to be a 1-1 draw, really. So there's not really anything exciting to say because it kind of felt like as soon as I saw the lineup, I was working. No, actually, I wasn't working. I was at the airport. As soon as I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, well, he's playing not to lose, and he's got an eye on.
But yeah, it's all about Wednesday night. Yeah.
So, and I just thought, you know what? Okay, and that is literally what I felt. I looked at it and thought, okay, but the chances are we're going to be playing Champions League football next season, irrespective of what happens in the remaining games. It's just about where we finish in the league now. And he's trying to win the Champions League, and that's clearly what the lineup said, and I was okay with that.
And can I just say, I actually love that because you know what? Yeah, there's so many pundits and people out there who've gone, he should be trying to win this game, and rightly so. Yeah, he probably should be trying to win the game. And should he be resting all these players, and should he be doing this, and should he be doing that? And do you know what? I personally love the fact that he's gone, do you know what? We're not going to win the league, right? I'm going to put a team out that hopefully will get a result. All right, they didn't. They got a point. But I want to go and win something. Champions League is our best opportunity to go and win something. Let's rest them. And I actually love the fact that he's actually gone and done that. And he's actually, had the bottle to go, do you know what?
I think
this ain't a big game. This ain't a big game. The big game's on Wednesday night. I'm going to rest my big guns for as long as I possibly can. I know he brought them on towards the end.
Yeah.
But I actually love the fact that he's actually done that as a manager because I think, a lot of managers, Arsenal managers, Arsene Wenger in
I think the only people I feel sorry
he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I think the only people I feel sorry for is the people who've gone to the game.
Yeah, they've paid their money, yeah.
The people who have paid the money or have got season tickets and whatever, and they're going to the games to watch because you don't want to see a game where it should feel more competitive than it was. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Brentford were obviously going to go for the win, so it's not like it's like that, was it? But Arsenal had enough of a competitive side where they could have won the league, but hopefully, I'm sorry, where they could have won the game, but
yeah,
them, isn't it? Who have you got this weekend, Ad?
West Ham have got Southampton at home, which is a 3:00 kickoff.
Oh, right, okay.
At the London Stadium. So with Southampton pretty much dead and buried. Well, they are dead and buried. They're gone. Juric has gone as well, the manager. So they're playing for contracts effectively. So what that means for West Ham is, I'm not too sure. It's not set in stone result. If they're lambs to the slaughter and they're pretty much deflated and down, they've still got something to prove. They've still got jobs to fight for. They're still trying to put themselves in the shop window to try and get a Premier League move in the summer. So I think there'll be some level of motivation at Southampton.
you seen the links for Ramsdale, Southampton? Bloody
Yeah,
hell.
yeah,
Newcastle and Man United are looking at him, apparently.
yeah. I mean, there was an interesting tweet we put out earlier today, and it was his size comparison to other West Ham keepers that have been linked, and he's like 195 centimeters tall. I didn't realize he was that tall. Like, and quite big. He's taller than Areola. And Areola's a big guy. But yeah, like Kelleher, I think Kelleher's the smallest goalkeeper at the bunch for him. And I think, there's a lot really. I mean, I know Callum can tell that obviously being a short goalkeeper, it doesn't really mean that much, but having that height advantage.
Well, it does. It made me not become a pro, mate.
Listen, mate. Listen, you talk
My
about
whole career.
Sorry, before you say that, Cal, you talk about height advantages. You look at you watch the game, you watch the highlights of the PSG goalkeeper, and he's already a good goalkeeper. But that height,
Donnarumma, yeah,
they're in
He is
part of the
massive.
reason they're in the semi-finals is because he's a big guy, he's a tall guy, but he's also a very good goalkeeper. But height does make a difference, doesn't it?
All my career, all I ever got told, you're not going to be big enough. You're not big enough. My whole career. And that's from 10 years of age. I was told that you're not going to be big enough, mate. You're not tall enough already. And I fought, and then ultimately, the thing is, I would never have been in the Premier League because I wasn't tall enough. They were dropping people. Adam, I don't think you realise this, but there was people not getting white scholars, or not getting pros because they weren't flexible enough, letting them being tall enough. I mean, they're literally people being kicked off because they weren't flexible enough. Their stretch fibers in their muscles wasn't good enough, and they were getting dropped. Do you know what I mean? Like I remember when I was, people being, their pass ratio percentage wasn't high enough, and they were dropped. And I was sitting there going, mate, he's the best. He's the best bloke in this team, and you're dropping him because he's, and then you're picking another bloke, and he's got a pro contract because his ratio's better. But what he does in the game is, it doesn't relate within the game. It's not match realistic. But they didn't get contracts, so height is massive, mate. It's so big. Academies and places will know straight away whether or not you're going to make it or not, because they know who they're going to push. And the height is such a big. I think it's changing a little bit now, but especially when I was growing up, it was if you're big, you're fast, and you're strong. We could teach you how to play football, but if you're tall, big, and strong, you can't teach that. That's genetics. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think that I like to think it's changing. Obviously, like I said, I've been at the game a long time, but I remember loads of people going, "Oh, do you know what? You've got everything. You've got absolutely everything. You're better than what we've got." I remember being told you're like 10 times better than what we've got, but you're not big enough. Imagine being told that, Adam, at 13, 14 years of age. You are the best thing that we've got in this thing in our run up, but you're not tall enough, fella.
Yeah. I was always big enough, but I was probably too big outwards to play.
It's hard. It's difficult, but like I say, he's massive. All these Premier League goalkeepers are all over 6 foot now. They're all 6'1", 2, 3. When you look at the Real Madrid goalkeeper,
gone are the days of Fabian Barthez, mate.
Yeah, 5'11". 5'11".
Well, Jimmy Walker, the West Ham goalkeeper, he was quite small, and
I bet he's over 6 foot though.
No, I don't think he was. I think it was like 5'10", something like that. He played for Walsall his entire life, and then West Ham got him like on the cheap when he was in the Championship, and he ended up keeping Stephen Bywater outside. But yeah, I mean, it was he saved Frank Lampard's penalty in a League Cup game, so he's forever a cult hero at West Ham. GP has put in the comments that's height-sized. That's what happens when the shores come in, doesn't it? High ties.
Like.
I mean, the thing is, you lot
bias,
make jokes about
bias.
it, but Messi was given steroids as a teenager. What's this?
Don't read it.
Huh? Yeah, no, listen, no, he makes a good point. Messi was given steroids as a kid to try and make him taller.
Yeah.
They reckon
Yeah.
he would have been smaller than he actually was, but they were
Barcelona,
giving him steroids as a young kid.
Yeah, Barcelona paid for his medication, which was like it was like an anti-shrinking tablet or something. Like, it's weird, isn't it? But yeah, Barcelona paid for his entire treatment because they knew how talented he was, and his contract was signed on a napkin that his dad witnessed. Yeah,
they reckon he was meant to be under 5 foot. They reckon he genetically he was meant to be under 5 foot, but through these whatever medication they were giving him, he ended up being, I think he's 5'3" or something, 5'4" or something stupid like that. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure he's with that medication that you mentioned, it put 3 or 4 inches on him. Seriously,
I was such a child.
Well, that's a child. Make a career, isn't it?
I mean, but you're talking about tens of thousands of pounds they invested in him. It wasn't like, it was a lot of money as a young bloke. They had to put into him. I don't get it.
It's just a knob gag. But out of a little bit of trivia for you, who is the smallest player in the Premier League?
Now,
yeah. Who's the smallest player in the Premier League?
Can you give us a clue of like where in the table he is?
Well, he's at the lower end of the table because he's not that tall.
Okay, so he's at the bottom of the Premier League.
Kluivert from Fulham.
He's at
Bournemouth. Oh, Bournemouth. Sorry, yeah, Bournemouth, because they played for them on the weekend. Sorry.
Same area of the country as the guy plays for. As Bournemouth.
As Bournemouth.
Same area of the country as Bournemouth.
So Southampton.
Southampton.
He's at Brighton.
So he's at Brighton.
Yeah.
Is it Matoma? Not Matoma.
No.
Go on, Adam, who is it?
It is Tarek Lamptey.
Where is it?
5'6".
5'6".
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man.
How tall is Trossard?
5'6.5".
This is like higher or lower with Bruce Forsyth. Oh yeah, lower. Yeah. How old do you reckon Bruce Forsyth was when he died?
84.
89.
Lower, Rob.
84.
86.
Higher, Cal.
It's a gag, isn't it? It's a gag.
Lower, Rob.
Right, anyway, Cal, what do you reckon? Yeah, we got Ipswich and Palace in the double header. All right. What do you reckon the scores are going to be? I'm just going to ignore Adam now.
Mate,
I reckon we'll win both 2-0.
Win both 2-0?
Yeah.
I reckon we'll win Ipswich game 3-1. And I reckon Ipswich will give us a little shake. Liam Delap or someone like that. Or maybe even Omari Hutchinson. And I think we'll beat Palace 1-0.
Didn't Harry Clark, their right back, used to play for Arsenal as well?
I can't remember.
At youth level.
Maybe.
He went to Hibs, I think.
I
think Ipswich are going to beat you. I think Ipswich will beat you like 1-0. And that is not what I want. That is not what I want. I want you to beat them. I want you to beat them heavily. But I've just got a feeling now that they're at that. Let's have a bit of relegation fight now. Like West Ham are catchable. So I think.
No, I don't think that'll happen. I don't think they've got enough to get through. I don't think they've got enough to score enough. And I think we will score.
And
I think
they drew against Chelsea, didn't they?
Yeah, but come on, mate.
And beating Chelsea 2-0.
I know, but Chelsea are woeful. If you look at Chelsea's current form, they've got relegation form, mate. So's Tottenham. If Chelsea and Tottenham if the league started in January, they'd both be in the relegation zone with Southampton. They're horrible.
They're horrible.
Do you reckon you lot would beat Southampton?
I do. I'm wary, but I do. I think that it won't be as convincing as most people will make it out. It'll be something like a 2-1 or like a 2-0 or something like that. I don't think it's going to be an easy day out for West Ham.
Okay.
And Kudus won't score or contribute. I don't think he's good. Again, I think people are praising his performance at the weekend, but I just don't. I'm not buying it. I think he's a fantastic individual, but he's not a team player.
Kudos hat-trick incoming, mate.
You just know it, don't you?
Yeah.
You just know it. I think Souček will come and save the day for West Ham again. I think he's scored 7 goals this year, and every time he's not played, West Ham have lost. Really? It just proves how pivotal he is in West Ham sort of style of play at the moment. But yeah, we need, as much as I like Souček, I think we need to revert away from that sort of side. So, but I think it's going to be a tough day out. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people make. But we'll probably just get over the line on that. But if we win and you win at the weekend, then that spells good for West Ham and bad news for Ipswich, if I'm honest. Yeah. That sounded the most cliche Michael Owen comment ever. If West Ham win, it looks really good for them.
Well, it just kind of ticks over another, after a very disappointing season, it ticks over the security of being in the Premier League again next year. I think in terms of numbers, in the reverse fixtures, we beat Ipswich 1-0 and we beat Palace 5-1. So there's goals in both fixtures, I think, but I do think Arsenal have got enough to. I also think Arsenal are steadily improving, and I think after the Real Madrid game, they'll be thinking, can we get the points on the table to solidify where we need to be, which is second? If we can get the 6 points here, we're probably just about okay. And then we can focus on the Champions League for the rest of the season, providing we get past Real Madrid. So I think there'll be a big incentive to win both of those games and kind of tie up where they would need to be for the remainder of the season.
Yeah. If we beat Real Madrid and go into the semi-finals, how close do you think Havertz is?
I don't think Havertz is back again this season.
No, I think he's done.
They said he's
hoping. I've heard rumours that they hope he's back.
I don't know, man.
He had some part.
I think he had a grade 1 tear, so it's surgery. I don't know. Saka's only just come back, and it was like the end of March, wasn't it, that he came back, and that was 3 solid months. I just don't see him being back. It's a lovely idea, but I just don't see it.
I've heard rumours that they're hoping that he's going to be back, play some sort of part.
Well, I mean, maybe, but I can't personally see it.
There's a score prediction for you.
Do you know what, mate? If that happens tomorrow, I'm going to have to lose the pub. So hopefully that is not what happens.
Well, that's Arsenal win.
Yeah, I know what it is, but no, wait. Is that an Arsenal win? So we lose 3-1 tomorrow? Is that what he means?
I think he's saying that's the score tomorrow, isn't it? GP, please clarify on this.
I think he's saying Arsenal win 3-1 tomorrow, lose 3-1 tomorrow, and Arsenal win 4-3 on aggregate. That's what I think he's saying.
Well, if Arsenal win 4-3 tomorrow, I'll be buzzing.
Declan Rice hat-trick of free kicks just to rub it in even more.
Well, you know what they say about Rice with a lid on it.
Mate, mate. Nobody should ever reheat Rice with a lid on it.
Adam, can you remember what?
I tell you what, you need to keep a lid on Rice.
You'll be fine.
Go on, Cal. Sorry, mate.
Can you remember what our prediction was for this week's Champions League? Or did we make a prediction?
Yeah, I said I said Real Madrid will beat you 4-1, and I think it will go to penalties, and I think you'll get through.
Do you remember what you said, Bob?
I said I definitely don't want that to happen.
GP, I don't think that works, mate. I think there's a 3-goal swing, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so that basically, I think you're agreeing with what I'm saying. It needs to be Real Madrid to win 4-1, and it goes to pens. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's exactly it. Cool. Great minds think alike, GP.
No, that's awful, minds.
Who wins on pen then, GP?
I think Arsenal win on pens.
I think that's not going to happen.
I think Arsenal get early goal.
I just can't see Arsenal conceding 4. I just can't. I can't see it.
I think with Arsenal over the past 2 seasons is that you have not shown any vulnerability in your games, and I think tomorrow night it could let that come out, but I think you'll overcome it. You know, like you'll scrape through, you'll overcome it. But I think it's a side that needs to happen because it needs to happen now for you to build to be even better. You know, so it's like, well, how do I deal with this situation? Like, how do we come over a 3-goal loss? You know, like it's mental training, isn't it, for big games? And I don't think that's what Arsenal have got yet. Is the big game mentality?
I don't know. I don't
know because last year you played Bayern Munich and you got absolutely smashed.
Yeah, but you say that, Adam. But our record against the top 6 teams now is ridiculous. Like you talk about 5 years ago, I'd go, yeah, I agree with you because we always seem to not turn up. But the last 5 years, we've absolutely battered, or at least like the whole Man City thing. Like they battered us, and then we've beaten them 3 times out of the last 4 with the draw. Like, what's this?
Basically, whoever gets the first
goal.
goal.
Right, okay,
yeah.
I think Arsenal score first. I honestly do think Arsenal score first.
Okay. See, Arsenal win on pens. It's fate that you win the Champions League to make all the West Ham fans more sorted with debts.
It's not all about West Ham. Jesus Christ.
The thing is, right, I'm not going. If you look at my prediction at the beginning of the season, what did I say?
You said
Liverpool to win the league, Arsenal to win the Champions League. That's what you said.
I said that. I said Arsenal. I said we've had 2 league seasons where we've been too close. We drop off with the league, and I said I reckon we'll win Champions League.
Yeah, in fairness, you did say that Arteta is due to win the big one. Like you said, a big trophy, whether it's the Premier League or Champions League. I think you said that was what was.
No, I said Champions League. I said Arsenal.
Yeah.
I said we've been too close too many times. Yeah, I said that we're going to drop off this year because you can't continue to compete at that level. And that I actually said that we'd win the double, and I said that we'd win the FA Cup and the Champions League. But obviously the FA Cup hasn't come through. But I do think we'll go on to win the Champions League. And I'll stick by that. I do. I think if we get past Real Madrid, I think Paris Saint-Germain is the perfect team to play because, again, they will come at us.
They've also shown themselves to be vulnerable in this game. They've scored.
Yeah, I mean, Aston Villa should have probably won it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And I think that PSG have overcome that, so they have to deal with it next time, you know. And I think that's what Arsenal need to do in Europe is the fact that you're ahead, but maintaining that deficit and ensuring that you get through. And that's what I meant. I wasn't disrespecting Arsenal when I was saying that you were vulnerable in the past. I was just saying you weren't that ready for that moment, you know. Like last season, it was probably a season too early. Like in terms of you come up against Bayern Munich and you got absolutely played off the park. Like it's but like as Dad's
park.
Well, no, you lost it.
We didn't get played off the park.
But it's like, but it's like what Dad said. If Donnarumma turns up like he did for PSG tonight and he did for Italy against England in the Euros. It's players like that change games, don't they, and change ties. And
we've got a game changer. His name's Mikel Merino.
Yeah, but I was just literally about to say, they've got between
Arsenal,
Rashford, and we've got Merino, mate.
Thing is, though, I do think that I take your point about PSG's goalkeeper, but has there been any more saves off the line from non-savable opportunities than Raya this season? He has
Double
made
saves more than anything, isn't it?
he's been incredible off the line. So I think look, this is hypothetical because Arsenal have not got past Real Madrid. So I don't really like talking about PSG the next game because I still think Real Madrid could do something. But I don't know whether part of that is just the fear. Because
It is the fear.
I do believe that Arsenal will win tomorrow. I do believe that, or I do believe Arsenal will go through. But I also just don't think it's going to be a straightforward game. But I can't see us shipping. I can't see us shipping 4. I just can't.
What's your
I'll
prediction?
hate it if we do ship 4 because I just think that would be just cruel. I think it would be so cruel.
Also, I don't know if I could deal with the banter.
I won't be,
The backlash of it.
I won't be going on X at all. I'll be going nowhere near. I'll be going nowhere near social media.
But you'll have to come on this podcast.
I will have to come on this podcast, but I will be safe in the knowledge that I'm sitting facing a West Ham fan, and I'll be able to get through it.
And I'll just keep posting pictures of Declan with his only European trophy. That's
Well, the
all I've got to do.
Community Shield is a more important trophy, so that's fine.
For who? The community. Huh? McDonald's community.
Nah, do me a favour, mate.
To be fair, third division of Europe is still higher tier than most.
That's right.
Declan Rice did say it's his biggest moment against Real Madrid in his whole career.
Yeah, we went through this last week, Cal.
Yeah, it's right. You could keep lying to yourself, but
oh dear. All right.
I think Arsenal win. I reckon Arsenal will win 2-1 tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will get a breakaway goal. At least I do think Arsenal will get a breakaway goal.
And I think Arsenal will make it a boring game. We won the Fairs Cup. What are you talking about, mate?
The Fairs Cup, fucking hell.
We have won the Fairs Cup.
Everyone's won the Fairs Cup.
No, you ain't. You ain't won it.
Yeah, we have.
You ain't won the Fairs Cup. Don't waffle. But West Ham never won the Premier League.
No, we haven't.
GP, get back in your basket, mate.
Yeah.
Nice for you to be on and be interactive, mate. Come on.
Yeah.
Next thing, you should have come up and say West Ham won the World Cup.
And look, Tony's going fishing as well. Look at him.
Yeah. It's Real Madrid, though, guys, isn't it? I mean, as clickbait as the comments are, they're one of Europe's elite clubs, aren't they?
No, they are absolutely capable of.
Yeah, but you can say it about any of them. You can say it about Barcelona. You can say it about PSG. You can say it about Bayern Munich.
PSG, no. PSG, absolutely not. I mean, they're not on the level of Real Madrid. I mean, they may have been fast-tracked that through the Qatari investment, and I don't even think they were a proper club until the 70s. Like PSG, I think it was like two districts of Paris that kind of amalgamated. They had Germain, then your Paris Saint-Germain. So I think that's how they are. So they're a fairly new club and fairly fashionable.
Within the last 5 years. Within the last 5 years, they're top.
I wouldn't even say last 5 years. They got to one Champions League final.
One
in
more
COVID
than you have,
time.
mate. You got how can you write them off, Adam? It's ridiculous, mate.
I'm not writing them off, but
final, mate.
You know what I can say.
Mate, your dad, mate. Your dad is, mate. Here we go. You had 2 West Ham players in the World Cup team. Well done.
3.
Oh,
There's a statue of that as well, mate.
Oh Lord!
Wait, isn't that right? So wait, that's the best part. That is the best part for me, actually. It's Bobby Moore, isn't it, at Upton Park after the World Cup final?
Yeah, Bobby Moore.
So you've got a statue. You've got a statue of Bobby Moore, not even playing for West Ham.
No, we have got a statue of Bobby Moore playing for West Ham, and it's them lifting the Cup Winners' Cup in 1965.
The Mickey Mouse Cup. Is that another Mickey Mouse Cup?
What, the only European Cup that Arsenal won?
Oh God, he's biting again.
The only The only one that Arsenal won with Alan Smith lifting it.
But you just said it was a Mickey Mouse Cup, mate. You literally
I
just
didn't
said the
say it was
same
Mickey
thing.
Mouse Cup. You're the one that says Mickey
You
Mouse
said it's
Cup.
not. You said it's
We've
not
got
a European
statue.
Cup. You said it wasn't a European Cup.
No, Fairs Cup. You said.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing.
No, it's not. It's two different competitions.
Ah, mate.
Mate, read a book and come back to me.
Listen, any day, West Ham crap.
Oh yeah, that's very true. So the 1966 statue was actually built very close to the old public lavatories.
I remember
But
that.
you're from that area. You're from that area, aren't you? Like, so it's literally around the corners where you're born and bred. You're more West Ham than I am, so you must have looked past that and thought really proud of your Newham heritage.
I'm proud to be from Newham.
Well, yeah, you've got 3 World Cup winners. Basking in the borough of where you were from.
No.
Well, Bobby Moore was in Romford, wasn't he? Or Dagenham.
Barking.
I made him. Mate. I love it.
I'm more proud of Romford Pele than anything else, mate.
And Tony Adams was from Dagenham.
Tony Adams, Dagenham, yeah.
One of my favourite things about being from Newham is that Kano was brought up around the corner from us, and so was Idris Elba. That was one of them. That was something I was proper proud of. Kano and Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. I can't even say it. Idris Elba went to Barking College when I went there.
Oh, did he?
And Penny Lancaster.
He's an Arsenal fan as well, isn't he?
Idris, yeah. Promotes the white, was it the white shirts for the? It's good calls. I'm not taking the piss. I think he does the anti-knife things.
Arsenal should wear those tops though, because they've never won a game wearing that.
We've never won a game in the last 4 seasons. We've always, as soon as we put them on, we get knocked out straight away.
Yeah. First one
it is a great cause.
First one was Nottingham Forest, wasn't it? You got beaten Nottingham Forest away. That was when Arteta lost his shit, didn't he?
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, we've never won a game in that white shirt.
Okay. Thanks for that, GP, mate.
Oh, you and Idris, or?
Oh yeah, no. It's as four Newham guys or Dagenham guys in the area. Alf Ramsey, also the manager of England from Dagenham, wasn't
he? East London's got a lot to shout about.
Yeah, East London is a collective, absolutely. But then there's that who we interviewed very, very early on, Nigel Khan, from More Than Just a Podcast and 6'2". If those that haven't been on those websites, go on them. But Nigel can actually, he does a bit of history about West Ham. And he does actually say that West Ham are probably originally an Essex club rather than an East London club, because of the boundary line between the docks of the east end of London and Essex.
Yeah, it's just because they keep widening the border of Essex, don't they? Or what's East London?
Yes, Sol Campbell was a Newham. I like this. Adams and Pardo, yeah. Sol Campbell was Plaistow, and he gave more comments, more. More. I'm just trying to think of more players that have come from areas. We could have like a trade-off, couldn't we? I bet there'd be more Premier League footballers from Newham than there would be from.
I think there's only one. There's that area in West London which is like responsible for a ridiculous amount of Premier League footballers, isn't there? It's like a 3 square mile or something.
Yeah, it's Crystal Palace, isn't it?
Is it Crystal Palace?
Yeah. Is that not like Ian Wright and
Ian Wright, Rio Ferdinand, all of those boys?
Yeah, Peckham, Eberechi Eze.
Square mile, aren't they? I think there's a documentary about it. I'm pretty sure there's a documentary about it. But I think it's about young black boys becoming professional footballers in the Premier League, and it's like Raheem Sterling's, like all that kind of all those types of players as well.
Yeah, he's from Barking.
Then you've got like Ian Wright. I'm not sure where Rocky Rocastle was it Rocky or Kevin? I'm not sure. But anyway, there's that area of West London which would probably be quite a good comparison as well with somewhere like Newham. Densely populated areas, lots of like concrete jungles or concrete playgrounds to play on, that type of thing.
Yeah, you've also got like the was it the Semrab squad from? Do you know of this?
I think I know what Senrab is. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I've played against them.
Whatever it was. So they had
they've been around for years. Yeah.
John Terry, Muzzy, is it? Do you remember him? He used to play for Leicester.
Yeah, I do remember Muzzy, is it? Yeah.
And then you had Ledley King. I think J. Emmanuel Thomas. No, not J. Emmanuel Thomas. I think it was
Rippleway, weren't they? Didn't he play for Rippleway?
J. Lloyd Samuel. I think it was.
Oh wait,
J. Lloyd Samuel. I think Liam Ridgewell. I think he was another one. Bobby Zamora, Ledley King. Yeah, I've had this debate, Dad, with someone, but it's actually Semrab Road rather than Barnes Sports. So it's actually a road there rather than it being, because I used to play against Barnes Sports when I played for Rockford Royal. So always had that sort of confusion. I think Arbok was the one because they were called Cobra. Did you play against Cobra or anything like that, boys?
I remember Cobra.
Yeah, Cobra.
Yeah. They're the men's team called Arbok. Yeah, just Cobra backwards.
So but like the Pokemon. Arbok. Yeah. That's why.
Who was the team from South London? I can't remember what they used to be called. They used to win the London Cup all the time. That's going to annoy me.
Remember. But around my way, it was like you had EMH, you had Barking Colts.
Did you ever play against Enfield?
Royal Falcons were always pretty good around that way.
Rock.
Enfield?
Remember Rock?
I remember Royal
Falcons. I used to play against like Cheshunt and all them. I played that.
Yeah.
Because my team was in Walthamstow, so I played for, like all the teams around that way.
Mm.
Yeah.
Caribbean. My dad's played football all around like London and Essex way. Caribbean. If that's I think. But mental. But yeah, that's amateur football, isn't it? Like the grassroots sort of stuff. Like Hackney Wick was always the or Hackney Marshes, was always the boyhood sort of motherland, wasn't it? In terms of amateur football. Like you played that Wanstead Flats. Yeah.
You played over Wanstead Flats, you were playing football, mate. That was some good times.
Yeah.
Used to love playing at Wanstead Flats.
It was always Parslows Park at Dagenham. They played over Parslows Park.
I played there. Yeah, that was good. That was nice place to play football.
Yeah, it was just massive. I remember the changing rooms in the middle of the park, and it was like, just like, oh, you're in changing room 13, and it was, you had that. And you could always rely on GP to lower the tone. So Wanstead Flats is a dogging spot now. So
thanks for that, GP.
I think it was then. I think it was back in the day as well when we was about 10. I think it's still a dogging spot.
Thanks for that, GP. You're welcome back anytime, mate. Right. But what I think, what was I going to say about Wanstead? No, Parslows Park. Oh yeah,
Beckton Pyramids used to play it as well, Rob.
Yeah, that was my home pitch, Beckton Pyramids. Yeah, that was
Beckton Pyramids.
Yeah, that could be rough on a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning, depending.
Did you walk like an Egyptian when you played around there?
Mate, listen, you had to be careful where you stepped. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, needles and stuff around there.
It was pretty rough.
Glass bottles.
It was crazy. I used to play there from about 13 on a Saturday, and then when I got to 18, my mate Rob set up a football team, and we used to play there on a Sunday morning. And oh man, the stories, good times. I loved playing football. I'd still play football now. If I'd love to play five-a-side that would be like a dream to play in a
Oh,
five.
you should hold on. Nankanko ground. The
No, I never-
Kanko ground.
I don't
Thames
play.
Water. No.
Is that where the big pylons are? I think I played there. That's near Leighton Orient. That's near Leighton Orient, isn't it? I think that's where. I think that's who put that up.
My old man. Yeah,
I
my
think
old
that's
man
near
used to play
Leighton
football everywhere. He used to play football everywhere when I was growing up. So yeah, it was he was always playing on a Saturday and I played on the Sunday. So but then when I stopped playing football, he started to play his games more. Yeah, that's that. I think we should wrap it up, boys. I think it's been a good week. Yeah, probably.
Let's
Probably
see
too
what
old for
tomorrow
it.
brings.
Let's see what tomorrow brings. I mean, I'll try and pop down the pub. Tell us where you're going to be watching the game.
I am going to be there probably from about 6:37.
3 pigeons.
Three pigeons.
Three
Best
pigeons
pub in
pub house.
Alston. By a long shot.
It's the best, yeah, by miles. Yeah, fantastic pub.
So if you're about, come hang because it's a lovely place. And you'll be buzzing tomorrow. Absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, well,
It was
let's see
Ramo
at
last
10
time.
o'clock.
It's going to be good, mate. It's lovely. It's lovely.
It won't matter. We'll be 3 or 4 Guinnesses in by then, so it won't matter.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, GP. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, good night, fellas.
Thanks, guys. Anyway, we'll see you soon. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Dad's Ad Job. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We're trying very, very hard to get some organic growth. We are looking for sponsorships. And yeah, and let's see what happens. Boys, thanks again. And I'll see you on the other side.
Night.